Hi, I'm Will from Tested.
I'm Norm from Tested.
Norm, today we have, well, this. It's the Kindle Touch.
Another Kindle.
It's e-reader month at tested.com.
The Kindle Touch
This
finally
Kindle
is
Touch.
out.
You can touch it. It's here.
It's the #1 thing people want to do when they pick up Kindles or ebook readers in general, since they're used to tablets. They want to touch the screen.
The first thing people usually do is you start matching the screen. It actually works now. There's a few things, well, just high level. This is the new premium Kindle. So we have the old one here. This is the Kindle. This is the non-touch version. It has a little D-pad at the bottom. It's
The one most people will be getting, $79 with offers.
Exactly. It's the bargain.
Wi-Fi.
It's a good gift.
Yeah.
This is the upsell version, and it has a touchscreen. You'll notice that there's no D-pad, no physical buttons, except for this guy right here. I thought this was a speaker.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a grill.
Yeah, I thought it was
bars.
where sounds or microphone would be, but you hit the button, it'll take you back to the home screen. I think adding the home screen back to this, the home screen was missing on the Fire. I think having a hardware home button is actually a really
Very
good
important,
thing.
regardless of the actual menu navigation.
Yeah, regardless of how it works. So this, like the Nook Touch, which we tested out earlier this year.
You didn't like.
I didn't like that.
No.
It was bad for a couple of reasons. One, it was too easy to accidentally hit the screen.
Yeah.
The software was dumb about knowing when to ignore and when to choose. It required gestures, which I found a little bit weird on the touch on the e-ink screen because they're not
Covered with
animated.
dog hair now.
Yeah, and it is covered with dog hair. Thanks, Chloe. This works with an infrared sensor.
Same type of sensor.
Same
so
type of sensor.
Around the bezel, there are infrared emitters that project onto the screen.
And pickups.
Yeah.
It doesn't require capacitive, so it'll work when you have gloves on. It'll work when a piece of cloth touches the screen.
It's just blocking the line of sight.
Just blocking the line of sight, exactly. The way they handle page turning and stuff is a little different than the Nook. I'm going to show you right now. So I'm going to open up a book, just tap, real straightforward. Now on the Nook, you would swipe your finger across the screen to turn the page, or tap on the edges, which is fine. It became difficult to turn pages back and forth. Using it with one hand was a little bit tricky, which on a device this size, you really want to just pick it up in your palm and hold it with one hand.
I'm not a fan of these swipe gestures on an e-ink display because there is no animation
Right.
to correlate with the gesture. So while swiping from right to left,
You can do that.
you can do that, and it goes forward. Without the animation, even on the Fire, while it's not the actual page turning, it still moves the screen.
Exactly.
It tells me that means go forward.
Right. However, doing that gesture when you're holding it one-handed is a little bit, it's awkward.
Yes.
It doesn't, my thumb doesn't want to go that way. My thumb wants to go in kind of these diagonal swipes.
It's kind of important
which
when
don't work very well.
when you're using ebook readers, people use it both with the right and left hand.
Right. On the Kindle Touch, there's basically 3 touch zones. So this guy, they call this Easy Reach, I think. I think it's a weird name for it. But basically, if you tap the top, then it pulls up the menus, and that's basically like the top quarter of the screen, maybe. From there, we'll talk about this more in a sec. But when you touch anything from basically here over, the vast majority of the screen, it goes to the next page.
Good.
So you can hold it left-handed, tap the center of the screen with your thumb, and it'll go on to the next page.
Doesn't need to be right in the center, just somewhere close around that center area.
It can be real close to the left edge. Like that moves us forward right there, just tapping right there. If you want to go back, you tap the very left edge.
So about a strip, would you say like maybe a centimeter or 2 centimeters?
No. It's a little bit less than an inch, probably 3/4 of an inch.
Okay.
It seems like. This works unbelievably well. I was really pleasantly surprised because I was expecting kind of a Nook Touch type situation.
You never accidentally went back.
Sometimes I would tap multiple times and the device would lag and then it would boom, 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 and zap forward.
And speaking of the responsiveness, you actually disabled the quick page turn.
So I haven't done that yet, but it is one of the things you can do. Like the newer e-ink displays, it's only refreshing the page, I think, every five page turns.
Full refreshing the page.
Yeah, so you see this is a short refresh, that's a short refresh. That was the full refresh with the black flash.
And a lot of people complain saying the full refresh was distracting.
So I actually like the full refresh. I think I'm probably the only person in the world does, but it's really good at letting me know when the page is turned. So
you never get ahead of yourself.
I never, I literally reach the bottom of the page, that flash tells me to look again at the top of the page. I like the black flash. You can turn it back on this, which I hadn't seen before. I actually quite like that. I think it's really good. There are a few things to note here with this guy. One is that when you're typing especially, you can get lost. So I'm going to search for Gaiman, because I have some Neil Gaiman books on here.
Okay. It's pretty good.
For whatever reason, the backspace key is where the enter key normally is. That's a little frustrating. This is giving me the list of all the things that are on my device, including The Ultimate Hitchhiker's Guide, which has a foreword by Neil Gaiman, I assume, something like that.
Yeah.
It'll download it. It searches both the items that are in the account in the cloud as well as stuff that's actually on the device, which I think is pretty good. It ends up being about the same as typing on this guy with the physical keyboard, which required a deliberate pace as well.
But probably less margin for error on the on the physical.
It was easy to have multiple hits on this, less so on this. A couple of other things that they've added. This X-ray feature, which is new, is surprisingly cool. It's not on the Kindle. This is one of the bonus features you get for the Kindle when you buy the Kindle Touch. So I'm going to bring up my menu, and then I have X-ray over here. So what this does is pulls up context-aware information from Wikipedia and other web sources about stuff that's in the text that you're reading, and it also shows up where the characters are mentioned. So Richard Forthrast is one of the characters in this book.
Okay.
As you can see, he's in the first act and the third act, not so much the second act.
Wow, spoilers.
Spoilers. But you can also search for things like Missouri, which is where I am right now.
So you just type in whatever characters you want, and it'll show you like a heat map.
It doesn't. It actually pulls up by chapter and by page. Okay. So if I go back to this previous page, you can see.
Where would you find this useful?
I don't know. If I was reading nonfiction, probably. So if I was reading like a Ben Franklin biography and I wanted to know more about Philadelphia in 1776, it might actually have articles about that on the device. If you break out into the page, so this was stuff that was mentioned on the page. This is stuff that was mentioned in the chapter.
Seems like an artificial limitation. There's no reason that this is only on the touch and not on the Kindle.
I'd say there's probably an interface reason. I can't remember if it's actually on the Fire. It's definitely not in the apps right now. I think they're probably looking at ways to differentiate the high-end model from the low-end model that aren't 3G.
So speaking of price, so this starts at $99, which is $20 more than the non-touch version.
Right, that is
for the Wi-Fi with offers.
Right, that's correct. The 4th generation Kindle, just the plain Kindle, not the touch, is only available without 3G.
Yeah.
So that means you can get it for $79 with offers, or I think $119 without offers, or $99 without offers.
Yeah, $109. It's
$109, right, $110. This starts at $99.
Okay.
It's $40 more if you want to remove offers on this. Okay. So it's more expensive to remove offers, and it's also $50 more if you want to add 3G.
Yeah.
So this
particular model is the 3G with offers.
Exactly.
$150.
$149. I struggle to know why you would buy this instead of the $79 one. The only times I've ever needed to download a book on 3G that I didn't have Wi-Fi were literally when I was sitting in a plane on a layover once.
And you finished the book.
Finished a book, needed something new. And then again when my internet was down at home. So that was kind of a bummer. I don't know that 3G is a necessity unless you really spend a lot of time traveling or in a car, because it's really easy to stack up a bunch of books when you have Wi-Fi. You know, it holds a ton of capacity.
And even when you have 3G, you can't browse the web like you could normally.
Yeah, you can't browse the web over 3G with this either. So it's a kind of weird device. I quite like it. I think it's pretty good. The page refreshes are good.
I think it's one of the best touch implementations on e-ink.
Well, it's the only good touch implementation on e-ink.
And would you say even better than on the Fire?
I think it's a better, so the Fire doesn't have the easy reach stuff.
Right.
So you end up having to touch the right side of the screen, the left side of the screen, or doing the swipe, which, as previously mentioned, diagonal, not straight across.
Well, swipe works, I think, a little better with an animated screen.
The problem with this was still the swipe, instead of being... So the natural motion when you're holding it in the corner of your hand like this is still a kind of diagonal. It doesn't work very well. Versus a straight, which is uncomfortable to accomplish. So I actually much prefer the tapping to the actual swiping to turn pages.
So a good touch implementation, but not sure if it's worth the $20 premium.
I think $20 premium if you're really concerned. This has a bigger battery. The battery life seems to be a little bit worse when it's using 3G predominantly. But on Wi-Fi, it's been exactly the same as the 4th gen Kindle. I hate
that you have to choose. I hate that the touch doesn't have the physical buttons. Why couldn't they just add the physical buttons?
The one thing I do really like is that the bezel's bigger on this. So the bezel on the 4th gen Kindle was a little bit too small to hold comfortably. You end up getting your finger on the screen. Obviously that's not going to work here because that would cause you to page forward and back in crazy and unpredictable ways. It's a much more pleasant device to hold. I think the home button on the bottom is really good. For $20 more, get the fancier Kindle.
It's also a way to distinguish between people you like, gifts for people you like, and gifts for people you really like.
Really like.
$20 more like.
Yeah, or $50 more like if you want to get the no offers. I think it's a really nice e-reader. That's pretty much where I'm at. It also has some of the text-to-speech features that the 4th gen plain doesn't have, as well as the web browser, which only works over Wi-Fi. And there's one more experimental feature that I don't. Did you
never use?
Never use
book
those.
Reading.
Yeah, this is a flat book reading device. It does have the contact pads in the back for the lighted cases. They aren't available yet, so we don't have those. It's a different size case than the 4th gen. So you can see the touch is a little bit bigger, and that's going to prevent the cases from working the same, even though they have the same contact points. Kind of a bummer.
Here come the add-ons.
But that's it. This is the Kindle Touch. It's out now, $99 to $180 basically.
190.
190, 89. I think if you're going to get this, get the cheapest Wi-Fi one with offers. Until next time, I'm Will.
I'm Norm.
Bye. Bye.